Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Sip and Talk. I'm Joe. I've got my coffee right here, black, no sugar, just keeping it steady today.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your time zone. I'm Sunny, and I am entirely, completely caffeinated, maybe a little too caffeinated.
You always have that energy.
I mean, looking at what we have to talk about today, I really think I need it.
Yeah, we definitely have a pretty heavy mission today. I'm definitely going to need to pump the brakes a few times.
We do. We are basically deconstructing the absolute madness that is this new AI anxiety. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Sip and Talkers. You open your newsfeed, and it's just panic.
Right.
And you check your portfolio, and it's very red. But the headline we're looking at today is the one that actually matters. Stop just buying GPUs. The 2026 AI reality. Power is the new gold.
It's a massive shift. We're moving from the fun part of the movie to the highly suspenseful part.
Yep.
But before we get into the weeds, we have to do the housekeeping.
Oh, right, the legal stuff. Remember, everyone, we are just two friends chatting about the world. We are not financial advisors. This is not investment advice. Please, for the love of your bank account, do your own research.
Exactly. We're just here to help you make sense of the noise. So, set the scene for us. What is the actual vibe out there right now? Because from where I'm sitting, it feels completely glitchy.
Glitchy is a very polite way to put it. I mean, it feels like we're at a party where the music just abruptly cut out.
Yeah.
For the last 2 years, it was a total rager. If a company even whispered the letters AI, their stock shot straight up. Everyone was buying. It was easy.
Too easy.
Right. But now, people are hesitating. They're looking around going, wait, is the party over? Should I call an Uber?
I don't think the party's over at all, but the cover charge just got a whole lot more expensive.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
We are shifting from that initial hype phase to the reality phase. And reality is usually boring, it's really expensive, and it involves a lot of paperwork.
Totally. To help explain this weird in-between feeling, I want to bring up something from the notes that I absolutely loved. It's a total nerd moment, but go with me here.
I'm ready.
The Fermi paradox.
I love that we were bringing astrophysics into a market discussion.
It fits perfectly. Okay, so for those who don't spend their weekends watching space documentaries, the Fermi paradox basically asks a very simple question. The universe is huge, right?
That's right.
There are billions of stars, so where are all the aliens? Why is it so quiet?
The math says we should have met someone by now.
Exactly. And one of the main answers to that paradox is this concept called the Great Filter.
The Great Filter.
It sounds like a bad Instagram setting, I know.
It's actually a lot scarier than that.
Yeah.
The theory is that in the evolution of any civilization, there is a hurdle, this filter, that is almost impossible to get past. Maybe it's nuclear war, maybe it's biological collapse, or maybe it's AI control.
Right, grim.
But most civilizations hit that wall and die before they can travel the stars.
Okay, so how does this relate to my tech stocks?
Think of the AI industry right now as a young civilization.
Oh.
For the last 3 years, we've had thousands of startups popping up everywhere. I have an AI for walking your dog. I have an AI for writing love letters.
I've seen that one.
But now they're approaching their own corporate great filter.
Which is making actual money.
Exactly.
Right.
Profitability. Real sustainable business models.
It was so easy to survive when venture capital money was essentially free and interest rates were zero.
Yeah. But 2026 is the filter. We are looking at a potential mass extinction event of these startups because they simply can't cross the gap from having a cool demo to having a real business.
So 2026 is the year the herd gets thinned out. That actually reminds me of the other space theory we looked at, the zoo hypothesis.
I like this one.
The idea is that the aliens are out there, they see us, but they're treating Earth like a nature preserve?
Right.
They're just watching the monkeys play in the zoo?
It's a very humbling thought.
Yeah.
But apply that to the economy. Who are the aliens in this scenario?
It's the big tech giants, obviously. The hyperscalers. Microsoft, Google, Amazon. They are the advanced civilizations with basically infinite money.
Yep.
And right now, they are looking at the zoo of panic startups. They aren't scared. They're just watching to see which monkey figures out how to use the tools first.
And once the monkey figures it out,
they just buy the monkey.
Or they just copy the tool and let the monkey starve.
It's ruthless. But that's the market. The big players are letting the small ones take the risk of finding the actual use case, and once it's proven, the aliens swoop in.
There was one more layer to this cosmic analogy that I found really interesting. The firstborn theory.
This is the one that says we haven't met aliens because we are the first ones, right? Like, we are the ancient elders of the universe.
Exactly. We are the big brothers. And in the context of AI, it means we have absolutely no roadmap.
Yeah.
We are the first generation of humans to try and build a synthetic intelligence. We are stumbling around in the dark because nobody has ever done this before.
We're writing the instruction manual while we're building the furniture.
Yes.
And we have a lot of leftover screws, and we don't know where they go.
Exactly.
So the chaos we're feeling isn't necessarily a sign that we're failing. It's just growing pains. Being the firstborn is messy.
It is messy.
Yeah.
But let's bring this down from the stars to the pavement. Let's talk about the sobering up phase.
Ah, yes. The hangover.
You used a driving metaphor earlier. The Tesla braking moment.
Yeah, it feels like the whole market was doing 100 miles per hour down the highway, and suddenly the lead car, big tech, just tapped the brakes. And now everyone behind them is swerving and spilling their coffee.
I have to challenge that slightly. I really don't think they tapped the brakes on spending. They tapped the brakes on expectations.
What do you mean? What's the difference?
Well, look at the S&P global data for 2026. The projected capital expenditures for the cloud giants is still sitting at roughly $600 billion.
$600 billion. That is, I can't even visualize that much money.
It's the GDP of a mid-sized country. If they were actually braking, that number would be going down. It's not. It's going up. They are pressing the accelerator through the floor.
So why is everyone freaking out?
Because of what they are buying. They are spending that $600 billion on infrastructure. They are building the railroad tracks, data centers, custom silicon, fiber optics. But here is the massive problem. The trains aren't full yet.
The trains being the software.
The software, the apps, the actual products that regular people pay for. We have built this massive railway, but right now we're mostly just shipping empty boxcars back and forth.
I love the Peloton analogy for this.
Oh yeah, lay it out.
It's like during the pandemic, right? Everyone went out and bought the $2,000 bike.
Guilty.
Exactly. That bike is the GPU. That's the hardware. You feel so productive just buying it. You post a picture of it online, but then Monday morning comes.
And you realize the bike doesn't exercise for you.
Exactly. You actually have to get on it and sweat every single day to get the six-pack abs. And right now, investors are standing there with a clipboard yelling, "Where are the abs? I paid for the bike."
And big tech is calmly saying, relax, we're still assembling the pedals.
That is the perfect summary of the hardware versus software lag. Hardware you can just buy. You write a check, you get a chip.
Right.
Software, cultural change, workflow integration, that takes actual time. You can't speedrun that.
So if we are in this lag, let's look forward. Let's play out the limit test. There are 3 specific scenarios for 2026 derived from Gartner and Goldman Sachs forecasts.
I love a good hypothetical. Let's do it. Scenarios A, B, and C.
Scenario A, the killer app scenario. This is the optimist's view.
This is the dream.
The premise here is that AI agents finally work. And we need to be very clear on what an agent is. We aren't talking about a chat bot that writes a poem about your cat.
No, we're talking about a bot that can actually do my taxes.
Correct. An agent has agency. You give it a goal, like review these legal documents or code this module, and it goes away, uses tools, makes decisions autonomously, and comes back with the work fully done.
So it's not a co-pilot. It is the pilot.
In this scenario, yes. The technology matures rapidly. The result is that demand for mid-level human labor drops by roughly 30%.
Wow.
And productivity spikes through the roof.
That sounds incredible for corporate margins, but it sounds like an absolute nightmare for average workers.
It's a double-edged sword for sure. But from an investment perspective, in scenario A, money moves aggressively out of labor-intensive industries and flows into the companies that own the algorithms. If you own the bot that replaces the lawyer, you win.
Okay, that's the high-tech efficiency future. What about scenario B, the feudal lord system? This one sounded a bit more medieval.
This is where monetization stalls. The premise is that the models are useful, but they get way too expensive to run. The electricity costs and the compute costs per query are so insanely high that a small company just cannot afford to build their own models.
So the whole American dream of starting a tech business in your garage is dead because you simply can't pay the electric bill.
Effectively, yeah. This leads to digital feudalism. Only the massive giants, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, the ones with their own power plants and massive balance sheets, can afford to run the intelligence.
So if I want to run a business, I don't buy a server. I pay rent to the big 3.
You pay a tax on intelligence. The tech giants become landlords. And as we know from history, being the landlord is usually a much safer bet than being the tenant.
That feels disturbingly plausible. But then we have scenario C, the physical wall. This is the one that really brings us to the title of today's conversation.
This is the scenario where physics punches back.
Right.
The premise is simple. We have enough chips, we have the code, we have the money, but we literally run out of electricity.
We just plug it in and the grid melts.
Basically. The JLL 2026 report is fascinating on this. They estimate we need 100 gigawatts of new capacity to support the planned AI growth.
Can you contextualize that? What is 100 gigawatts? Is that a lot?
That's roughly the entire electrical capacity of the United Kingdom.
Whoa.
Yeah. We need to build a new Great Britain worth of power in 2 years, just for data centers.
And, can we?
Absolutely not. Not with the current grid. Transformers have a 3-year lead time right now. Transmission lines take a decade just to get permits.
Oh, wow.
In scenario C, the tech giants are forced to stop expanding, not because of money, but because the local utility company literally says, we cannot give you more power.
Sorry, Mr. Zuckerberg. The lights are flickering in Chicago. You have to turn off the brain.
Exactly. And this forces a massive pivot.
So which scenario is it? A, B, or C?
It's never just one. It's going to be a messy mix of all three. But the hidden script that the smartest money is watching is scenario C. Physics is the hard bottleneck.
Right.
You can code around software bugs. You cannot code around the laws of thermodynamics.
Physics is undefeated.
Always. And this leads us to the real buzzword of 2026. It used to be model size. How big is the parameter count? Now it's efficiency.
Inference per watt.
Exactly. How much intelligence can you squeeze out of a single joule of energy? If you have a sloppy, power-hungry model, you are dead in the water.
And this is where the massive plot twist happens. We started this conversation talking about tech stocks, software, chips. But now, if I follow the logic, we are literally talking about nuclear power.
We have to. Nuclear is the new tech stock. Look at what the hyperscalers are doing right now. This isn't a theory. It's actually happening. Microsoft, Amazon, they're signing 20-year deals with nuclear plants. They're investing heavily in SMRs.
Wait, break down SMRs for us, because when I hear the word nuclear, I just think of Homer Simpson or Chernobyl.
Fair enough. SMR stands for Small Modular Reactor. Traditional nuclear plants are massive. They take 15 years to build and cost $20 billion.
Right.
SMRs are like the IKEA version of nuclear. They are smaller, they're factory built, and they can be deployed much faster in theory. You can literally place one right next to a data center.
So the data center has its own personal nuclear reactor in the backyard?
That is the vision. Because you cannot rely on the public grid anymore. If you want to guarantee uptime for your AI, you need your own dedicated power source.
That is such a wild shift. It's like discovering that the most important part of your Ferrari isn't the engine, it's actually owning the gas station.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You're realizing that the tech trade is actually an energy trade. You cannot have digital gold without physical power.
Okay, let's boil this all down for the Sip&Talkers. We've got the great filter, the breaking car, the feudal landlords, and the nuclear reactors. What are the actual takeaways for an investor looking at 2026?
Right.
If I'm looking at my portfolio and sweating, what is the new rule book?
According to the insights from UBS and JP Morgan, there are 3 new rules to watch. Rule number 1, ROI over CAPEX.
Translation.
Stop celebrating the spending. For the last 2 years, investors cheered when companies said we are spending $10 billion on chips. It showed ambition.
Yeah, the market loved that.
But now, the market will punish that. They want to see cash flow. Stop telling me how many shovels you bought. Show me the gold you actually dug up.
I like that. Show me the gold. Okay. Rule number 2.
Rule number 2 is the rent economy. Look for the companies collecting the rent. Don't just look for the companies buying the tools. Look for the ones who own the cloud platforms and the power.
Because being the landlord is better than being the tenant.
Yeah.
Got it. And rule number 3.
Energy infrastructure. Your portfolio needs to include the people making the electricity, not just the people using it. The grid operators, the nuclear firms.
That makes total sense. If power is the bottleneck, own the bottleneck.
Exactly. And finally, we have to talk about the timeline for all this. The great filtering.
Bringing it back to the aliens.
Late 2026 is going to be a cleansing fire. We predict that second-tier AI startups, the ones that don't have a specific profitable use case, are going to go bust. It will look a lot like the dot-com bubble bursting.
But we need to be really clear here. The dot-com crash wasn't the end of the internet.
No, it was the beginning of the real internet. It cleared out all the noise. Pets.com had to die so that Amazon could live. The survivors of the 2026 filter will be the ones integrated into actual daily workflows, the agent economy of 2027.
So the advice is basically to hold on tight. Don't panic when the weak companies fold. Look for the ones that are actually doing work, not just making flashy demos.
That's the strategy. Volatility is just the price of admission for the next decade.
This has been, well, it's been a lot, but in a good way. It feels less like magic and more like industrialization.
It is industrialization. We are building the factories of the mind. And that is messy, loud, and very expensive work.
Well, before we wrap up, I have to go back to the beginning. The zoo hypothesis.
Let's hear it.
If the aliens are watching us right now, watching us build these massive data centers, scrambling for uranium, trying to birth this synthetic intelligence, are they impressed? Or are they terrified?
That is the ultimate question. They are probably just waiting. They're waiting to see if we solve the energy crisis or if we just burn out. It is the ultimate test of a civilization. Can you survive your own invention?
Man, I read this one thought online that maybe we really are just the universe's USB drive.
What do you mean?
Like we're just downloading all this information, processing it into AI, and basically hoping we don't crash our own system before we can pass it on to whatever comes next.
Well, let's hope we are a reliable drive then. And let's hope we don't get formatted.
Seriously, I do not want to be reformatted.
Yeah.
So, to summarize the mission today, the game has changed. We aren't just buying weapons the chips anymore. We are building fortresses, power, and software.
That is exactly the right way to put it.
All right, Sip&Talkers, that is it for today. We went from aliens to nuclear reactors in under 20 minutes. Make sure you are subscribed to the show so you don't miss the next analysis.
And hey, before we go, I have to give a special shout out. You all have to go watch our old friend Mickey's YouTube channel, Mickey to Life.
Oh my God, yes. His Europe trip vlogs are endless. I swear he just complains the whole way. The coffee's too small. The cobblestones hurt my feet. It's basically a one-man stand-up comedy show at this point.
It is genuinely entertaining. If you need a break from thinking about the collapse of the power grid, go watch Mickey complain about croissants in Paris. It's highly therapeutic.
Definitely check it out. And as always, a final reminder. We provide objective facts and international perspectives here. We encourage critical thinking. We don't take sides. We just want you to think for yourselves.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
See you next time on Sip and Talk.
Cheers, everyone.